Hello there, and welcome to FPL / non-FPL chat discussion. Words of wisdom, Native American wisdom. I just felt like doing a video from the graveyard where I haven't been for probably, you could probably tell me. I think it's been at least since summer. I'm guessing since the last time I've actually physically been here. There may have been a possibility I came here in the last few months, but certainly I can't remember. And for many reasons, really. Different life circumstances, I guess. Oh God, it's going to be one of those videos, is it? Yeah, so see you later. What a strange year it's been. This time last year I was still at Tesco, probably at my lowest point in London, probably. It was a stage in my life where I really was contemplating everything, to be honest with you. And obviously I was looking for new jobs. I was getting ironically messed about from Tesco's themselves regarding my transfer to become a delivery driver. And of course, during this process, I'm thinking I need to get out of Tesco, so I was applying for NHS jobs. And this whole process last year was taking a long time. Just to get the job at the delivery depot site, it took in total 3 months. 3 months from the point of actual contact with speaking to somebody from that particular depot to actually finalising the move. It took 3 months to get a poxy transfer, in which I then accidentally bust my ankle / foot, which is still playing up to this day and is down to my own stupidity of not resting it up. That was done in April. I discovered that was actually done in April when I at the time I assumed I severely sprained my ankle. It's quite abundantly clear to me now, unless it's my naivety that's just like, no, Steve-o, you just literally need to rest it and stop walking on it. I think I've probably done worse damage than initially assessed. And I think there's a very, 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 very small possibility that I may need surgery to mend the tendons and potentially even the ligaments, but probably the tendons in that area, because it is just, if I spend roughly 4 or 5 hours a day walking, which is a very regular basis in my new job, the area itself becomes not necessarily severely swollen, but it does swell up. And it's not particularly pleasant to walk on. Even me walking from my house to this graveyard, it takes roughly 20 minutes. And already that specific area, it just feels inflamed. And that's even taking ibuprofen, which I kind of refuse to take. I don't really like taking too many tablets to relieve pain or relieve inflammation of a particular area. I prefer it naturally healing, but the doctors have told me, no, you do need to take ibuprofen just to help with, there's that word, inflammation. But then of course once I actually get told, congratulations, Steve-O, you're now leaving shop floor and moving on to your new role as a delivery driver on that exact day. I think I even said it on a video in the graveyard. I get told, yep, you've been successful in your application to become a porter in the NHS. And I generally I couldn't believe it. I really could not believe that I'd been waiting for 3/4 months to get the hell off shop floor, and then on the same day I get told that you're leaving to not only go to one job but then go to another job, and then I get told by my now manager that do not leave any job that you're in now because the process of the paperwork is going to take approximately 5 to 6 weeks, which is exactly what happened. It took 5 weeks, and you know, I did the Tesco driving job, but through begrudgingly doing it, because I remember literally on the day that I was going to be going off sick for 2 weeks with this ankle injury, that's when I get told about it. And of course, when I clear off to the depot, and I personally go out my way to speak to the management and say, look, I've had a problem for the past 3 or 4 weeks with my ankle. I need to go to A&E and I need to get it x-rayed. It was from that moment, bearing in mind this was during the training week and this was the second day, it was from that moment where I thought, I have made a big mistake here, where the manager at the time just looked at me like I was a piece of shit. Looked at me like I'm a time waste and was basically like, just clear off then. There was no sympathy or even empathy towards my situation. It was quite literally, well, whatever, we'll just sign you off sick then. And I'm like, I'm not going off sick. I'm just needing to go. I've come in an hour early to tell you that I'm wanting to get an x-ray on my ankle because I think I may have potentially broken it. And you're looking at me like I'm some kind of time-wasting scumbag. That's how I felt. And anyhow, I went to the hospital and they told me that no, you've just ironically the hospital I'm at now, they tell me that no, you've just damaged the tendons and you've definitely not broken anything. Unfortunately, you fast forward coming up to a year, it still hasn't settled down. I mean, it's settled down to the extent of I can now walk a lot more freely on it, but it's taken, since August, September time to kind of like, for me to be able to walk relatively comfortable on it, And of course, once I've left the delivery driving job, I'm now into a new job, which I'm really, really enjoying. And yeah, for obviously this whole time period, we've had quite literally 2 new seasons. So we obviously had the 2022-23 season end, where I actually did okay last year. And then we move into the 23-24 season. And to be completely frank, I have absolutely detested this FPL season. It has been, from my personal point of view, absolutely miserable. It's been depressing. I feel like I do these fucking videos at least once a year, if not twice a year. But I just find that anything I seem to do doesn't seem to work out. As I've spoken to Death, I think I even spoke about it on my FPL Juice appearance. When you have to create content and it's predominantly live, you are quite literally, in fact I know for a fact I even said it on a Patreon video as well, you are quite literally just spouting off your immediate responses, reactions, emotions to the outcomes of what is literally going on at that precise moment in a football game. Or, I don't know, for argument's sake, doing these Saturday night reactions where, you know, this season the most lowest ebb I've been regarding this season was game week 20, when, you know, I feel like I'm repeating myself, which I am, where obviously Palmer has got, 19 points total, and that was on the day that I was going to do a -8, and I was going to be bringing him in for Sterling, but some tosser on Twitter, who I stupidly naively believed, said that Sterling would be starting, because the plan was that if Sterling wasn't going to start the game against, I think it was against Luton, wasn't it? I said that I'd be removing Sterling and just bringing in Palmer. Unfortunately, this individual said he was starting. I thought, right, we'll just stick with the -4, and history is what it is. And obviously that evening, it comes to where essentially, I can't even remember what even happened on that day, but I literally said to Jason, I just remember literally just saying to him, I don't want to be doing this. I want to get on with the stream as quickly as possible and get the fuck out of here. And he went, yeah, no problem. And to be fair to Jace, he respected the fact that I was in a genuinely just not an emotionless point of view, but in a state of mind where I'm like, I literally do not want to be here. Not even joking. Like, me and Jason can have a joke and say, I can't be bothered to do this, and we can just get through it. But that specific day, I'm like, I really don't want to be here. But a lot of it comes down to many factors. You know, whether it is quite literally the FPL point of view, where you've had a complete fail. You then throw on life circumstances as well. And for anybody that even bothers listening to my podcast, you'll know what that's about. You then throw on the work situation or circumstances as well, where none of us are perfect and certain things can affect you at work. And then you combine that all in one. And essentially it just boils over into a circumstance where an individual like me is like, I don't want to do this. As I said on a Patreon video, the reality is that most, if not all, fantasy football content creators, none of them do anything live other than deadline. They do everything before the deadline, and they do everything after the deadline. During the deadline, they don't do anything. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up for you to decide. But when we here at Elite FPL choose to do all our stuff predominantly live, it's very rare that we do videos. I know I released one the other day regarding my final wildcard team. It's very rare we do videos, and the live type of video where we do Saturday Night Live reaction, the watch-alongs to whether both our captains are involved, and specifically if Jason's involved, I prefer doing watch-alongs with him rather than doing it solo. That was another video, was it, or another stream that we did, or I did, where it was Tottenham versus Bournemouth and Arsenal versus Fulham, I think it was. Just fucking awful. Absolutely fucking awful. And I keep reiterating this point, that when you're doing these things and you really don't want to be doing it, most people watching this, in fact all people watching this right now, can turn this video off if they don't enjoy it, and they can go away. They can do whatever they want to avoid whatever's going on that's negative that's happened in their life. Whereas for me and Jason, it's nope, got to continue streaming for the next 75 fucking minutes, because after 15 minutes I'm already fucked off at the fact that whatever's happened. Or fuck that. It could be I've now got to watch the preceding 90 or so, well, no, it'd be more than that. It'd be the next 100 minutes of football because my player isn't even in the fucking squad, which was unbeknown to us at the time until the team news is released. But you've already scheduled a live stream, and it's disrespectful enough to just quit a stream halfway through, but to literally just say I'm not streaming because of certain circumstances. I'm going to go for a quick walk. There's a bench over there actually. In fact, I'll just quickly twist the camera. There's a bench over there. It's actually in the sun, so I'm going to go there instead. Maybe get a tan. Yeah. I don't think so. When if you see over there, it's more likely to snow. But yes, it's going to be a lot more disrespectful if myself or Jason scheduled a stream and then we're like, no, we're not doing it. That'd be, I think, more disrespectful. It's more from an entertainment point of view, more funnier if someone's streaming and halfway through they go, fuck this, I'm off, because I can't deal with the pain of, well, at that time, Tony missing a penalty. But no, certainly the one thing that has been, obviously, as I keep saying all the time, that I've been grateful for regarding with Elite FPL is obviously you, the Elite FPL community, is sticking with us through thick and thin. I think one of my treasured moments, well, it's actually this year, isn't it? Tuesday last week, but was obviously the appearance on FPL Juice, and the fact that all of you came along, a lot of the Elite FPL community came along and showed your support, not just for myself, but I do put Jason in that bracket as well. I know he wasn't there, but the reality is that you guys came out and supported what, not only the fact that I was on there, but the fact that you came out in force to represent yourselves and show what a strong community we are. As I keep copying Mark Goldbridge. Also the simple fact that, I wasn't even going to be on that show. I just said, look, I'm free on this specific Tuesday. I don't have to come on. It's completely up to you guys. I'm more than happy, which I would have done, be more than happy to just sit in the back area and just watch the show. And they were like, nope, we're having you on. And that's certainly over the past year, I have certainly been very happy that I've got involved with the FPL Juice community, and obviously the work that they do. I just, without wanting to suck them off, but I will do. Tell me more. I think what they provide to the FPL community is very, very valuable. I think that, as Jason quite rightly put it, it's a show which, apart from being just studio based, it's a show in which it's to talk to FPL managers that, whether they're on Twitter, whether they're on YouTube, whether they're podcast formats, it's about wanting to talk to them as people and getting to know them from a personal point of view, rather than talking about the tactics and chip strategy or transfers or whatever. It's more about this person isn't just a robot. They're actually a human, and there's a person behind that screen who has a lot to say about other subject matters other than fantasy football. And for me, discovering them, obviously I've known FPL Juice has existed, mainly because of Boona, funny enough, because obviously Boona was part of their team, was it last season? And certainly the season before. And certainly I kind of got on board because of Dread recommending them to me. You personally or on stream, same thing. I think Dread recommended them to me. And I kind of started watching their stuff towards the back end of last season. And I do remember the first stream I actually listened to was their final day deadline stream. I know that for fact of last season. And I remember listening in because they had started really, really early. I can't remember the specific times, but they certainly started a lot earlier than the big content creators. And I was working that day, and I went on break, and I just fancied listening to something live, because as I keep banging on about, when you watch someone live, or when you are consuming something that's a live stream, because there is that possible element of you being able to participate in that stream. It's just something unique and different about it. And also the fact that with live streaming, as I keep banging on about, it's live. It's quite literally instant reactions to what is going on at that precise moment. So obviously with FPL Juice being in a studio, the fact that they've got 4 or 5 other individuals from the FPL community space, and the fact that they are a couple of hours earlier than the deadline, more specifically, a couple of hours before most people are going to be doing deadline streams. I thought I'm going to listen in. I always remember just being on my break and just thought, fuck it, I'm going to hopefully enjoy this. And I did. And then during the summer, they were the only channel to do live streaming. And I can't remember the specific context of the actual videos themselves, but I do specifically remember Yelena's one. Tell me more, Stevie boy. But I remember specifically Yelena's one, and I thought, because it was just her and Nick. Tell me more. And it was just her and Nick, and I just found it fucking enthralling. I was just really engaged with what they were both talking about, because they weren't talking fantasy football. They were just talking about anything. In fact, I think they were literally talking about anything but fantasy football. And I was just like, this is really, really interesting. And then I decided, like I do with a lot of channels, and I'm not talking about FPL, I just mean in general, I decided to go through their back catalogue. Now, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute I was watching every single stream or anything, but what I did do was I watched their final day of the season live with FPL meets at the pub that Planet FPL, well, subsequently months later Planet FPL held. I forget what it's called now, but they did a live stream on the final day of the season from that specific pub. And I was just in awe of it. I was just like, this is something I would fucking love to do. I genuinely would love to be able to... No, the sun's in your face then. That would be something I would love me and Jason to do. Some kind of live stream like that, out and about, with microphones. What was that? With microphones and quite literally be able to talk to anybody, obviously if they were there for the show, of course, but just speak to anybody and just chat to them about what the hell was going on at the time. And I legitimately, this was, I think this was even, I don't even think it was during the summer holidays. I think it was literally during this season. Maybe sometime like in August or September. And I watched the full 2.5, 3 hours. And at that point, I'm like, I've got such a high regard and respect for what Nick and Ash, James and Jesse are doing with their broadcasting and their setup and everything. I was like, I just fell in love with it. You know when you meet a girl or a boy and you just have that instant connection. I mean, I wouldn't know, but you have that instant connection with somebody. You just know it's right. And for me, that specific stream that I watched of FPL Juice and their Game Week 38 watch along, live reactions with their fans and their audience, I just thought this is magical, and I just fell in love, and I just thought, yeah, I'm gonna watch their stuff on a continuous basis. And I think also another key thing, which is, I mean, I say this all the time, which is really bad from mine and Jason's point of view, but I think the key thing for them is that because they do it every single Tuesday at exactly the same time, you know when and where they're going to be. And that's key to any person that's doing content. I mean, someone like me, I'm saying that now, I'm the biggest hypocrite on the planet. Because when it comes to my own personal podcast, unless I'm doing a specific topic, i.e. regarding The Office or wrestling, I literally just release bonus podcasts, and they can be about as sporadic whenever I can be bothered to publish it. Although ironically, I have just I actually recorded one on Saturday, and that'll be being released on Monday, I think it is. I think it's Monday it'll be coming out. But usually I think for anybody that's watching this now, if you bother taking any piece of advice from me, because I don't take my own advice, it's you must make sure that any content you're releasing is scheduled for pretty much the same time of the week every single week on a regular basis. I mean, I'm not going to lie, we've noticed that with the Saturday night reaction, because me and Jason have committed to doing the Saturday night reaction every single Saturday at 8 p.m. People know when and where they can see an FPL channel where two individuals are going to be quite literally talking about that specific game week, or more specifically that specific day. It's no coincidence that those specific streams are very, very popular. Same with Sunday Surgery, to be fair. The Sunday Surgery ones are also very popular and also get good viewing figures as well. And, you know, to be able to grow an audience, that's what you need to do, to be consistent with content, making sure that it's scheduled at the right, well, at a specific time, on a specific day, so then your audience are aware of what you do. However, what I will say though is that if you are a content creator and do choose to do just sporadic podcasts or content, it can be done. You just need to make sure that you're doing it every single week, and you're explaining to your audience that make sure you're got the notification bell on, making sure you're subscribing and following that particular content that you're consuming. Because I always think about small little independent podcasts. I mean, we are a small independent YouTube channel at the end of the day, the same as FPL Juice. But the thing with small independent podcasters is that they kind of can just release content whenever they want. They don't need to. They still need to stick to some form of schedule, but actually, for most content creators, release whenever you want. I mean, even my own podcast, I literally just, if I can be bothered, right, I'm recording, whatever, right, send it out, done. Same with these videos. Yes, I'll have scheduled this to come out at X time on X day, but really, I'm recording this on a Sunday afternoon at, I think it's about it is now 1:10 in the afternoon. So the Aston Villa team news will have been released along with Everton. And yeah, I'm just chatting shit in the graveyard. But because we're able to do this, people get excited by it. I mean, I get excited when some of my favourite podcasts used to do some random episodes, and I was like, these are the best ones. These are actually ironically the more enjoyable ones, because they're not as structured. I can't remember who the hell it was now, but a particular podcaster that I used to listen to used to release like random short 15-20 minute episodes of essentially something that was going on in their life, and I found it, like I said, just mesmerising, watching and listening into what this person had to say. It's the same with, obviously Mark Southerns is now choosing to go down the route of doing outdoor videos where, he does shots like this. Got to put music over it. Is that one of yours? Yeah. I've completely forgotten the name of the song, even though I've literally watched it last night. Trouble. The point being is that even Mark Southerns, him doing his videos, 20 minutes long, of him just walking out and about in a woods or wherever he is, and I'm just there watching it going, but it is quite literally just a bloke spilling his thoughts about what's just happened over the weekend, rather than us having to wait for Thursday or Wednesday or whatever time they stream. He just releases it whatever day he does, and essentially we as an audience just tune in and find it quite what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, there's a fox over there. I wonder if I can get a shot of it. I think I can. Just zoom in, which is probably gone by now. There it is. I mean, I look at it like, oh my god, it's beautiful. But my god, they make a lot of noise. It's a lot louder than that. If you've ever heard foxes having sex, fucking hell, tell me more. But yeah, when Mark Southerns just talking about FPL and everything, when going out on his walks and stuff, it's just therapeutic. That's the word I'm looking for. Very therapeutic. Edit that bit in. But oh, there it is. There, he's following me. Let's also do it the second I'm in a tree. Oh, there's two of them. Huh. Don't get that with Mark, do you? Is that one staring at me just over there? He's wondering, what's that? What's he doing? Slagging you off. And you. And you. But yes, and that wasn't even is that a fox? I can't even tell if that's real or zoom in. I don't know if that's actually real or it's an ornament. I generally can't tell. The only way I could tell is if I just move towards it. And should we just move towards it and see if it runs? God, this is entertainment, isn't it? Oh, it is. It's actually a real one. It's gone. They're both gone. Well, Steve-o, they're having a little sleep and everything, you just scared them off. Brilliant. The wig, the glasses, brilliant. But yes, the point I'm trying to get at is that over the past year has been a very, very eventful one, specific for me in my life. And certainly I'm just hoping over the next 12 months it will be very, very interesting to see where this time next year, if I'm doing it from this graveyard or if I'm going to be doing it from another graveyard, because that is something that is, as I've discussed to death a billion times, it is something that I am seriously contemplating, which is the whole thing of leaving London and moving back home, and obviously transferring jobs and just all this other stuff that's going on in my mind, because it is a struggle at the moment with living in London, as I've discussed a billion times. It is very expensive. There's no way that an individual in my case who's single, has no family whatsoever up in London, and essentially doesn't see any progression from when it comes to moving in on my own somewhere, or whatever the circumstances may be. So yeah, this time next year could be a completely different location. I could be doing quite well in FPL. Yeah, right. And certainly, you know, a year's a long time. You don't say. But yes, I did, and that's another thing actually I wanted to quickly discuss. Obviously, we've gone from doing YouTube membership videos. Obviously, Jason's discussed it to death. I'm not going to go into it now because we all know the reasons as to why that's happened. And now we're on Patreon, and that's where all the bonus videos, and which are then turned into, or simultaneously turned into, podcast format, are then put up. And that's another thing as well that obviously, well, mainly myself do, is the live reactions to what's happened. Like, for instance, I did a Patreon vid today, Sunday. I did a half an hour video regarding Kevin De Bruyne and my thoughts on his game time. Oh, I bet you want to get Patreon for that. My thoughts on his game time, and certainly with Haaland, my thoughts on his game time as well. Essentially, he ain't going to be playing against Burnley. That is not going to be happening. It'd be an absolute miracle if he comes on. I think I said that. What do you mean you think you said? It's you. I'm pretty certain that Haaland is probably going to be on the bench for the game against Burnley, but I don't think he comes on. I think they're going to build up his fitness until the Champions League turns around. It's very similar to Kevin De Bruyne, an individual who is a world-class player, but Pep Guardiola is not going to risk him getting injured again when you can see the kind of quality he brings to a team. I mean, that goal, or more specifically, that pass that he created, fucking hell, I can't even talk. The pass that he made, fucking hell, for Bob, was just extraordinary. Does anybody recognise this reference? Bobby's Bits. I would say comment below, but I'm turning the comments off. But yeah, we'll set up a company called, I don't know, Bobby's Bits. Nothing offensive, but yeah, just extraordinary. And I just don't think Pep is gonna be too much of a fool to risk a player. And even didn't Kevin De Bruyne himself has come out and said that he can only play like 20 to 25 minutes as he builds up his fitness. So well done, Mr. Reid. To those that not only did Mr. Reid bring him in, he also captained him as well. But certainly with Kevin De Bruyne owners, you got your points, and yeah, well done to you, well done. But I'm not in a place from my own personal point of view where I'm like, oh my God, I've got to get Kevin De Bruyne in. I know Jason messaged me. Now, I thought he'd actually already done it, but Jason did message me to say that he is seriously contemplating bringing in Kevin De Bruyne. He hasn't done it. He may do it by tonight, Sunday, on Sunday Surgery Live. But to be honest, I don't think he needs to do it. In fact, I'm actually captaining Foden. So, but there's your 2 points again. But I'm really hoping today, obviously, with Everton versus Aston Villa, with my Watkins captaincy, I really do hope he returns. But unfortunately, one of the worst players that plays the game, and Nick Brailsford, he won't be watching any of this, even though his wildcard team looks very similar to mine. He captained Watkins as well. And like I said, not only is he bottom of the Torbay Elite League, he is 6 millionth in the world, and he captained Watkins. It's fucking unbelievable. And also, someone that I do respect or have a high regard for when it comes to FPL, in Dread FPL, making an appearance on FPL Juice March the 5th. Make sure you guys support him. He benched Watkins. Yeah, so will it be that line, what does Dread FPL know that I don't, or we don't? But yeah, benching Watkins, and idiots like me have captained him. Just can't make it up, can you? But we shall see. Anyway, on that note, I have nothing to add other than thanks for watching this video, and yeah, see you for the next stream.